Okay, good afternoon. We're back with Deuteronomy chapter 2, remembering Israel's wanderings. Then we turned around and set out across the wilderness toward the Red Sea, just as the Lord had instructed me, and we wandered around Mount Seir for a long time. Then at last the Lord said to me, "You have been wandering around in this hill country long enough. Turn northward. Give these orders to the people. You will be passing through the country belonging to your relatives, the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir. The Edomites will feel threatened, so be careful. Don't bother them, for I have given them all the hill country around Mount Seir as their property, and I will not give you any of their land. Pay them for whatever food or water you use. The Lord your God has blessed everything you have done and has watched you every step through the great wilderness. During those 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you and provided you for every need so that you lacked nothing." So we went past our relatives, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir, and avoided the road through the Abara Valley that comes up from Elath and Ezron Geber. Then, as we traveled northward along the desert route through Moab, the Lord warned us, "Do not bother the Moabites, the descendants of Lot, or start a war with them. I will give them Ar as their property, and I will not give you any of their land." A numerous and a powerful race of giants called the Amnites had once lived in the area of Ar. They were as tall as the Anakites, again, another race of giants. Both the Amnites and Anakites are often referred to as the Raphites, but the Moabites called them Amites. In the earlier times, the Harites had lived at Mount Seir, but they were driven out and displaced by the descendants of Esau. In a similar way, the peoples in Canaan were driven from the land that the Lord had assigned to Israel. Moses continued, "Then the Lord told us to cross Zered Brook, and we did. So 38 years passed from the time we first arrived at Kadesh Barnea until we finally crossed Zered Brook, for the Lord had vowed that this could not happen until all the men old enough to fight in battle had died in the wilderness. The Lord had lifted his hand against them until all of them had finally died. When all the men of fighting age had died, the Lord said to me, 'Today you will cross the border of Moab at Ar and enter the land of Ammon. But do not bother the Ammonites, the descendants of Lot, or start a war with them. I have given the land of Ammon to them as their property, and I will not give you any of their land.' That area, too, was once again considered the land of the Raphites, though the Ammonites referred to them as Zamzumites. They were numerous and powerful race, as tall as the Anakites, but the Lord destroyed them as the Ammonites could occupy their land. He had similarly helped the descendants of Esau out Mount Seir, for he destroyed the Harites so they could settle there in their place. The descendants of Esau live there to this day. A similar thing happened when the Caphtorites from Crete invaded and destroyed the Avites, who had lived in villages in the area of Gaza. Moses continued, "Then the Lord said, 'Now cross the Arnon Gorge. Look, I will help you defeat Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and I will give you his land. Attack him and begin to occupy the land. Begin today, and I will make all people throughout the earth terrified of you. When they hear reports about you, they will tremble with dread and fear.' Victory over Sihon of Heshbon. Then from the wilderness of Kedemoth I sent ambassadors to King Sihon of Heshbon with this proposal of peace. 'Let us pass through your land. We will stay on the main road and won't turn off into the fields on either side. We will pay for every bite of food we eat and all the water we drink. All we want is permission to pass through your land.' The descendants of Esau on Mount Seir allowed us to go through their country, and so did the Moabites who lived in Ar. Let us pass through until we cross the Jordan into the land of the Lord our God has given us. But King Sihon refused to allow you to pass through, because the Lord your God made Sihon stubborn and defiant, so he could help you defeat them as he has now done. Then the Lord said to me, 'Look, I have begun to hand King Sihon and his land over to you. Begin now to conquer and occupy his land.' Then King Sihon declared war on us and mobilized his forces at Jahaz. But the Lord our God handed over to us handed him over to us, and we crushed him, his sons, and all his people. We conquered all his towns and completely destroyed everyone, men, women, and children. Not a single person was spared. We took all the livestock as plunder for ourselves, along with anything of value from the towns we ransacked. The Lord our God helped us conquer Aor, or Aror, however you pronounce that, on the edge of the Arnon Gorge, the town in the gorge, and the whole area as far as Gilead. No town had walls too strong for us. However, we stayed away from the Amorites along the River and the towns in the hills, in the hill country, all the places the Lord our God had commanded us to leave alone. Deuteronomy chapter 3. Victory over Og of Bashan. Next we headed for the land of Bashan, where King Og and his army attacked us at Edrei. But the Lord told me, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have given you victory over Og and his army, and given you his entire land. Treat him as just as the king just as you treat him as you treated King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon." So the Lord our God handed King Og and all his people over to us, and we killed them all. We conquered all 60 of his towns, the entire Argob region and his kingdom of Bashan. These were all the fortified cities with high walls and barred gates. We also took many unwalled villages at the same time. We completely destroyed the kingdom of Bashan, just as we had destroyed King Sihon of Heshbon. We destroyed all the people in every town we conquered, men, women, and children alike, but we kept all the livestock for ourselves and took plunder from all the towns. We now possess all the land of the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, from the Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is called Sirion by the Sidonians. The Amorites call it Seir. We had now conquered all the cities on the plateau and all Gilead and Bashan, as far as the towns of Salikah and Edrei, which were part of Og's kingdom in Bashan. Incidentally, King Og of Bashan was the last of the giant Rephites. His iron bed was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It can still be seen in the Amorite city of Rabbah. Land division east of the Jordan. We took possession of this land. I give this territory beyond Arar along the Arnon Gorge, plus half of the hill country of Gilead, with its towns, to the tribes of Reuben and Gad. Then I gave the rest of Gilead and all of Bashan, Og's former kingdom, to the half-tribe of Manasseh. The Argob region of Bashan used to be known as the land of the Rephites. Jar, a leader from the tribe of Manasseh, acquired the whole Argob region of Manasseh, all the way to the borders of the Gershonites and Machalites. Jar renamed this region after himself, calling it the towns of Jar, as it still is known today. I gave Gilead to the clan of Machar, and to the tribes of Reuben and Gad I gave the area extending from Gilead to the middle of the Arnon Gorge, all the way to the Jacobah River on the Ammonite frontier. They also received the Jordan Valley, including the Jordan River and its eastern banks, all the way from the Sea of Galilee down to the Dead Sea, with the slopes of Pisgah on the east. At that time I gave this command to the tribes that will live east of the Jordan. Although the Lord your God has given you this land as your property, all your fighting men must cross the Jordan, armed and ready to protect your Israelite relatives. Your wives, children, and numerous stock, however, must stay behind in the towns I have given you. When the Lord has given security to the rest of the Israelites, as he has to you, and when they occupied the land the Lord your God has given them across the Jordan River, then you may return here to the land I have given you. Moses forbidden to enter the land. Okay, I think I might come back and read that, because I only got like 40 seconds left, so I don't think I can fit that in 40 seconds. So I'll come back and read the last little bit of chapter 3.